Roland here with C2Keep. I am super excited to share this major update with you. We've redone the entire system and we are now allowing you to record transactions when they were actually performed in C2Keep. And we're giving you the same security features, the same ability to update your transactions, to amend all of that stuff, but we're giving you this feature that now allows you to maintain the most accurate perpetual inventory ever. And I'm excited to show you how it works. Whether you're dispensing, receiving, recording lost or stolen, auditing, amending transactions, you can now change the date and time in C2Keep to match when they were physically performed. And the system will adjust your inventory as a result, making sure that, like I said, that perpetual inventory is the most accurate ever. Okay, so let's start with a simple dispense. If you're dispensing a drug and you are doing it manually, for instance, so let's pick some oxycodone 15. As always, you enter the RX number and then the patient name. So this is oxycodone, and right here, this is the new transaction date time. This transaction date time is updated throughout the system, and it's actually when it was done, not when you recorded it in C2Keep. So let's say this was dispensed yesterday at 1600. Perfect. Set. We're starting with that amount, and we're dispensing 92 oxycodone. You can enter again your notes, etc., and you can use split fill. But because this is happening yesterday, hit dispense. When you enter your PIN, the transaction is going to enter the system and update and fall right in line, matching with the times when it happened. So this was yesterday at 1600. We dispensed oxycodone, some oxycodone 15, 90 pills, etc. You can click, and in the side panel, you can see when this was dispensed yesterday at 1600 and when it was recorded today. Now I'm recording this on July 26th, so just FYI. All right, but you can see that the transaction updates as such. And if we go to view all, you can see these are all the transactions for that oxycodone 15. What's really neat is with each one of these transactions, when you click and you see the side panel, you can see when they were performed and when they were recorded. This receive right here, you can see when it was performed and when it was recorded. Sometimes it's the same time, perpetual inventory, perfect. But if there's any delay, there's going to be a difference about the time when it was performed versus when it was recorded. Take it a step further. We actually giving you the ability to edit the time when it was performed if there's an error. So I recorded this dispense and I said it was dispensed yesterday at 1600, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 2 days ago at 1600, or maybe it was yesterday at 1700. Yes, you can make that change by clicking on this edit button next to when it was performed and then picking the date and time at 16, let's just say 1630. Set. When you do, you enter your PIN and it would update. So this was now performed yesterday at 1630 and was recorded most recently today at a different time. And we take it a step further. Because you're entering your PIN, we're tracking to see who made the change and when and what that change was. So this change was made today from yesterday, or this change was made today saying we actually dispensed this drug yesterday instead of 1600 at 1630, right? Perfect. And right here, it updates to when the most recent transaction was recorded. Perpetual inventory is maintained. This is super awesome. And this goes the same for any other transactions you record, whether it's received, whether it's damaged or expired. You can always change when these activities were done. Even if you amend the drug, you can change it, of course. And all your transactions can be edited as such. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's look at receiving. Same thing if we're receiving, let's pick a random NDC, some oxycodone. You can always enter the transaction date and time. When did you physically receive this inventory into your pharmacy? If it happened on a Friday and you were gone and you come back on a Monday, you can say, oh yeah, we actually did receive this on Friday. Or if you were gone on Tuesday, we received this on Monday. You can enter that time, 9 a.m. in the morning. Perfect. You can enter how much you received, 100. You can also enter the order details, add notes, all that jazz. So we're looking at July 24th at 9 a.m. when we received 100 oxycodone. Enter our PIN, and if we go down to July 24th, right here at 9 a.m., this is the transaction. We received oxycodone, and then we recorded that today. Okay. Again, and it updates your perpetual inventory. It'll fall right in line when it actually happened, and then adjust every other transaction beyond that. Super neat. Same thing if you're recording lost or stolen, right? You can record when that was actually lost or stolen, add your notes. Same thing if you're doing damage meds or if you're selling to another provider. Basically, for every transaction, you can change, and if you click on it in the side panel, you can edit the time. Now let's go to the oxycodone. I want to show you what's really neat about this. Let's go to view all. Where this system really shines is what happens when you audit a drug. Okay, so right here, this drug was audited on May 23rd. That was the last time this drug was audited. All the transactions that have happened since then, you can adjust. You can adjust the date and time. Any transactions that happened previous to the last audit, you can no longer adjust. So you're basically saying, when I audited this drug on May 23rd, I actually had 569 pills, right? After you audit the drug, you're locking every transaction prior. And that's really neat because before you finish your audit, we still give you the opportunity to come and fix any discrepancies that you might have. And so let's look at this oxycodone, for instance, 8515. You can see we have all these transactions, and we have 1,287. We can see when everything was done prior to the audit on May 23rd. So if we go audit this drug, 8515, we'll create a new audit. 8515. There we go. We got 1,287. Let's just say we have 1,300. So we're missing 87 pills. And we want to record, say we found some damaged pills. So we found 30 expired pills. And when we found this was May 22nd. So this was before our last audit. So we're going to find 30. When we try to record this, it's going to tell us, hey, you can't. You already audited this prior to May, that date, and you told us you were right. So you can't do that. So that's really a nice security feature there, where even though you can change the dates and time, we're also making sure that it makes sense within the transaction trails. Same thing if you're trying to dispense drugs and you don't have enough, we're going to prevent you from doing that and ask you to really go back and look at your transactions before recording any sort of transactions that would fall in and then make your inventory not make sense or confuse the next user or confuse you 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years from now. That's not what we're about with C2Keep. All right. So here you go. It's pretty straightforward in the way you're able to record transactions at different dates and times, and the way we test to make sure those transactions make sense. Okay. And when you're done with all of this, so let's just say we have 1,380, let's say we have 85 pills, and we had a damaged pill, right? Found one broken pill. And we'll say we found it on July 12th at 9 a.m., one broken pill. And then today we're auditing this drug and still need to investigate what happened to another pill. Okay, we're missing 2 pills. We know what happened with one, and we know that it happened sometime in the past. So we're going to confirm this and complete the audit. All right, so we're now going to go look at the transaction history for this drug, 8515 oxycodone 15. It should actually be on the top. There it is, because it was the most recent transaction and the last time it was audited. You can click right on this and go into that audit. Pretty sweet. Let's go back to inventory. Right here, you can see we audited it today, right? Still need to investigate this one pill. And then right here, you can also see that this transaction is when we dispensed, but you can no longer change the time. So any transactions prior to, you can no longer change the time. We've locked them because we audited them. But what's really neat is we recorded a damage expired pill that we actually identified on July 12th, but forgot to record. So this was on July 12th, and we recorded it today. And it shows right there, found one broken pill. And it tells who did it. And what happens is it falls, again, right in place on the date, and it adjusts your inventory so that it remains perpetual going forward. All right. And then the magic about this is it feeds into your reporting, whether it's a custom report, all the times are changing now to the transaction date time, not when it was recorded, whether it's your inventory totals report, all of that's also adjusting, whether it's your audit reports, like if you're in California or in Boston, wherever you're doing your 90-day audits, your 7-day audits, all of that now adjusts to the transaction date and time, and not necessarily when you were recorded. So like I said, the most accurate perpetual inventory. The last thing I want to show you is when you're receiving drugs. So I have this AmerisourceBergen order right here that was shipped to me on July 25th. I've been so busy, I forgot to log into C2Keep and recorded it and receive it. And I know we actually received this, not on well, this was yesterday. So here's let's look at an older one. Let's look at not received. Oh yeah, from July 21st. That was so long ago. July 21st was Friday last week. We've been so busy. Nobody has come to our pharmacy needing oxycodone 5 or oxycodone 7.5. Hydrocodone 5 or hydrocodone 7.5. So we didn't receive it. But we're here. We need to receive it. We actually received it on Monday. Click receive Monday, and the time 9 a.m. in the morning is when the shipment arrived. Perfect. So you have your transaction date and time right here for your received order. Again, you can upload documents, all of that. Hit received, enter your PIN, and it's going to update. It's going to fall right in line when both transactions were received. And here's another cool thing. If we go back to the orders and we go to received, we can look here at that drug when it was shipped, when it was received, July 24th, right here. This is what I just did. It was shipped on July 21st. It was received on July 24th. But if I look at the details, I could tell when it was received, but when I recorded it, which was today at 9:49. Okay. So I think you get it. With all transactions, you can change the time. Last one I want to show you here is our pending transactions. So again, this comes from Liberty Software. This is when you actually ran the transaction. You can click and you can change to record when it was dispensed. So if we're dispensing it today because it was short supply, etc., and it was sitting there, or if we actually dispensed it on that day but forgot to confirm it and we have so many pending transactions sitting, we can actually come back in time and then dispense them accordingly. But there is a caveat, as always. If you don't have enough inventory to dispense, we're going to prevent you. All right. But anyway, today's 24th or 26th. I apologize. Today's the 26th. This was actually run on July 17th, but we forgot to confirm it then. So now you actually can. You can come back and confirm it on this date. This prescription number 3170. Right here, we can search for it. There it is. It was dispensed on July 17th, but you can see it was actually confirmed today at 9:51, and this was a Liberty. And if you amend it, same thing. Same thing as even if you amend it manually, like basically every transaction, you can be as accurate with your perpetual inventory as possible. Let's look at this dispense that was manually entered. It was dispensed yesterday. If you try to amend it, you can pick when it was returned to stock, all that jazz. Works perfectly. Okay, change your time, and you cannot go beyond yesterday at 16:30. So I'll show you an example. Let's say I'm trying to amend this transaction, return to stock, and I'm saying I did this on July 11th. Meanwhile, I dispensed it yesterday. If I try to amend this, it's going to tell me, hey, that doesn't make sense. Pick the right date and time. All right. I'll stop right here. It's a lot. But it's a great feature. I'm really glad to send this out to all our users to help you again maintain that accurate perpetual inventory, so you're not stressed about going through an audit. As a pharmacy owner, you know that your staff now has, the best tool to ensure that you're compliant, not risk your pharmacy being fined, you feeling comfortable that you come at any time and you can look at your transactions and they just make sense. The inventory adds up. You can go back in time and amend, as always. You can even change date and time. You can create audits for people. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, needless to say. Okay. And so, yeah, try it out. Let us know. Give us feedback. This is, what we're doing every day is getting your feedback and improving the application as a result. So, thank you for trusting us. We love you. We really do. Thank you.